Then there are some questions from the audience. Any questions from the YouTube and the audience? Okay, when we're looking at here's a question. In what way should the Philippines adjust its foreign investment policies to better attract high quality, sustainable Chinese investments? Well, I think Federico, the was assigned by the president to do trade talks would be in a better position to answer this question. But we do not see anything coming out of the trade negotiator that is improving our trade prospects. Well, it's just basically going back to the one basic proposition that we have and always have. Repair our relationship with the People's Republic of China and improve the atmosphere where trade can grow again. The second question is how might regional tensions in the South China Sea affect activities of ability to benefit from China's economy? First of all, there are no regional tensions. There are localized tensions like the tension between China and the Philippines because of the initiatives of the Philippines complying with the assertive transparency policy of the United States of America, which we have been explaining for the past 3 years in particular. But of course, the privatization of the United States since 2011, Obama's announcement in 2011. So these are this is the background for the so-called regional tension. It is not tension amongst the regional members, amongst the major countries of the region, but it is just tension created by the United States of America. What should Philippine policymakers or business actors do to maximally benefit? Well, I think the Philippine business sector is relating with the Chinese business sector and investors. As we can see, BYD is, I think, invested in the Philippines with the Ayala Group and so on. But this is not benefiting really the population of the Philippine economy. It has to go broader and deeper than that. And I do not see the prospects of a major improvement under Bongbong Marcos, especially after the presentation of Kaado Pangilinan, which displays and exposes the puppetry of the Bongbong Marcos with the American agenda. Americanizing American agenda does not necessarily Trump's agenda, because Trump is quiet about Philippine-China relations. In fact, again quoted by Kaado a while ago when Bongbong Marcos visited Trump advised the Philippines or Bongbong Marcos to have better relations with China. But we are in a dilemma because the President of the Republic of the Philippines is not telling us the truth about this situation. How might deeper economic integration with China under the shifting 5-year plan affect Philippines' alignment or policy space with other strategic partners such as the United States and Japan? Well, as we can see, we do try that, and we just have to raise up to the need to assert the independent foreign policy and the neutrality that is one of the fundamental planks of the ASEAN. I see no possibility yet, but I have mentioned that there are positive steps being taken by conscientious professional government diplomats such as Jaime Cruz, Tess Lazaro with the Department of Foreign Affairs, and pushing at least in small steps such projects as the restoration of the e-visa, which is still far from what is required to restore the return of the Chinese tourists, but it is one big step that has been taken. Likewise, the DFA has reported to the initiating talks between the Chinese Coast Guard and the Philippine Coast Guard over the maritime concerns. So we are not able to comment on this further because we have just read the reports that this is ongoing, and we can probably more elaborate more on it if it does come up. Any questions, kay Kanado, Danny? Let's see, can you see the question?
Sir?
Yeah.
Tama ba ang ginagawa ng administrasyon nato sa lantaran ang pagsika sa China and sa ASEAN na mas mainam bang idaan ito sa diplomasya?
Alam niyo, yung ginawa ni Bongbong Marcos sa ASEAN, na lantaran iniinsulto isa sa mga invited guests ng ASEAN meeting, which is China. And as the number now is reported, has caused the Philippines to be pariah of ASEAN. But I don't know if Carlos can access the Straits Times slide natin, where a commentary from the Straits Times by Shannon Peo, and I quote him here, the slide. Prime Minister Anwar downplayed the significance of overlapping claims in the South China Sea. Quote, I find it difficult to comprehend why it is highlighted as a major issue. It tends to be exaggerated, sabi ni Prime Minister Anwar as a serious and explosive matter. This is written by Straits Times columnist Shannon Peo in the October 28, updated October 29 issue of the Straits Times. So ito ay patama kay Bongbong Marcos. Hindi naman pinagin si Bongbong, siyempre dito Marquez or Benguan, tumatang po ito. But the Philippines will have a hard time as chair of the ASEAN, and ASEAN will have a hard time with Philippines as chair in this 2026-2027. Yes?
Magkakaroon ba ng epekto? Kasi di ba isinalin ngayon kay Marcos? Magkakaroon ba ito ng epekto knowing, alam naman ng mga bansa na nando na umaten sa ASEAN Summit, na ganito yung kanyang tirada o pagtingin sa animo kalaban ng Pilipinas at China. Magkakaroon ba ito ng epekto sa ASEAN countries?
Well, sa aking assessment po, naisulat ko po ito. Nakamit ko na po sa aking artikulo na isa sa mga intention ng Amerika po ay wasakin na ng sayo. Wasakin na ng sayo. Dahil po ito ay hagdan sa mga plano ng Estados Unidos at ng Indo-Pacific idea. So, pagmamasdan po natin at babagtahin po natin kung mga gagawin din po mga dito sa mga tanong tungkol sa ASEAN bilang chairman. But I'm not expecting an easy time for Bongbong Marcos nor for the ASEAN countries. But the hope is that the vast majority of the now 11 countries, I think Timor-Leste has been accepted as a form of effort. I'm not sure of that yet, I'm not updated. Pero labing isang bansa na at iisa lang po Pilipinas dyan. At lahat ng ibang mga bansa, ASEAN, ay masasabi natin pro-China, malinaw po pro-China. Dahil we can get quotes from the Asian Law Farmers, Singapore Prime Minister, we can get direct that China is their friend, China is their benefit to them. Malinaw po yan. So, unfortunately, the Philippines is in a dilemma, in a quandary. Tayo tinulak po dito sumubong sa quicksand. But I always try to be hopeful that tulad no visa, nakita naman natin meron namang gumagawa ng tama. Tingnan natin po. Hindi pa po tapos talaga ang story nito kung Marcos po. Dahil po nakikita natin, siya ay nasa gitna po ng napakalaking crisis political. Hindi biro po, kaya po ang hinahanap po nila, yung Martin Romualdez, yung Brownell. Kaya po, kita naman natin, halos walang araw na lumilipas, na hindi nagsasalita sila ng Brownell, Juan Chudoro, at ibang mga opisyalis ng Bongbong Marcos government na yung kudeta masama, so, kita malinaw mo, nakapisis sila.
Clarification din po. Yung po bang mga bansa na kasapi dito na matended dun sa ASEAN Summit, majority po ba o may alam po ba kayong bilang ilan yung mga kasama din o kasapi dun sa na o sumali sa BRICS? Amen.
Well, I'm aware that Indonesia is part of BRICS, Malaysia, Thailand. Offhand, I cannot remember the name. At least 5. Vietnam. At least 5. We can check the
Question goes to Kaado. Kanina Kaado, sabi mo kanina, habang pinagmamalaki yung mga grocery pakikipagbalyansa sa US, si Trump naman ay nagbigay ng benepisyo sa ibang bansa, pero hindi sa Pilipinas. So, ang tanong ay, despite na meron po tayong Mutual Defense Treaty o EDCA bases ang Estados Unidos, parang hindi naging kapakipakinabang pa to sa atin. Kasi lahat sila, kumbaga, nag-giveaway sa tariff, binigyan ng ng Estados Unidos, pero Pilipinas, taas pa rin. Diba? Any comment on that?
Una, yung background na yung tanong kanina,